Joining us in the studio is the Minister of State for Middle East and North Africa, James Cleverly. Mr. Cleverly, thank you so much for joining us on the programme this morning. First of all, we're going to be hearing later on today just how much it's going to cost people to heat their homes. 1 in 4 homes could go into fuel poverty. What are you going to do about it?
Well, the government is very, very well aware. We're all very, very well aware of the impact on people's lives of the increase in energy prices. That's why we've already put in a number of targeted packages to support people specifically about heating their homes, and also things like the universal credit taper rate, which gives working families working people about £1,000 extra. The increase in the living wage will, again, give working people about £1,000 extra a year. And the Chancellor has been looking at this and will make announcements about what else we could do to support, because we are acutely aware of how difficult this will be for some families, and we're putting things in place to help mitigate that.
Is he also looking at a windfall tax?
Well, look, I don't want to preempt the announcement that's going to be coming soon from him. So we will all be seeing what additional measures we're putting in place on top of both the general and targeted support that we've already outlined.
Because, of course, the Prime Minister has said no to a windfall tax, and previously the Chancellor has said no to a windfall tax. And everybody that I've been talking to this morning has said, unless there's a windfall tax where you can get billions of pounds from these energy companies who make billions of pounds profit, then, as I said, 1 in 4 people are going to be in fuel poverty. Well,
look, you'll always get people who are very wedded to one particular solution to a difficult situation. But the Chancellor will be setting out how we are going to support people who are struggling to pay the bills. As I say, keeping people employed, making sure they've got money coming into their pockets through their pay packets, making sure that, as I say, with things like the universal credit taper and the increase in the living wage, we're making sure people can earn more to help offset that. But as I say, we're also having, in parallel to that, targeted measures to support people with their energy bills.
Will it be enough?
Well, for some people, they're always still going to struggle, and we're very, very conscious of that. But we really hope that, as I say, the combination of both general financial support, keeping people in work, making sure that work pays, supporting the people on lowest incomes, and the very targeted measures specifically about energy costs will make sure that we hope the majority of people who are concerned about the fuel bills get support.
Do you think, for 1 second, that people like you and I, who have never had to worry about heating our homes and keeping warm, have any comprehension of how people who have to think about either feeding the kids or turning the electricity off?
Well,
I can't comprehend it. I have no comprehension of that decision that people have to make.
So I've always been in a lucky situation that even at times in my life when I've had money difficulties, I've had friends and family that have been able to help. So I've never been in really acute poverty, and I'm not going to pretend I have. But the point is, in government, in politics, you are almost always having to derive policy for people in circumstances different to your own. That's how government works. So we absolutely listen to both the individuals and campaigners around poverty. That's why we're so passionate about things like the levelling up agenda, to make sure that wherever you are in the country, you have the opportunity to get a good job, to get a better job, to get more money. If you're out of work, as I say, getting a job is one of the best ways that you can alleviate poverty. And if you're in work but on low pay, having things like the universal credit taper rate, having the living wage increase, these things will help. And where they aren't quite getting there, that's where the targeted support comes in.
OK. Well, as I said, just to underline again, 1 in 4 families fuel poverty. What are the Russians up to, buzzing our airspace?
I can't work out what Russia hopes to achieve by this series of quite provocative, or indeed very provocative, actions. We need them to understand that they can be an important, significant player on the world stage without this. The kind of military aggression that we're seeing, or this military posturing that we're seeing.
What happened? Can you underline as well?
So I don't have all the details at the moment. I don't want to, as you can imagine, with something as sensitive as this, I don't want to speculate or make an error.
So basically, those pictures are not relating to what we're talking about just at the moment, because it was 4 aircraft, Russian aircraft, that was buzzing our airspace, and the RAF had to go up and see them off.
Yeah, and look, this is not the first time something like this has happened. And we have made it absolutely clear that whether it is our own airspace, whether it is the territorial integrity of our NATO allies, we stand shoulder to shoulder. And indeed, with the aggressive posture that NATO are putting towards Ukraine, we have also said that we absolutely support Ukraine's right to be a sovereign, independent nation. We have provided support over a number of years through Operation Orbital, which is training of the Ukrainian military, and more recently we've supported them with defensive military equipment. And we're making it very clear, the Foreign Secretary did earlier this week, making it very, very clear that if Russia were to further encroach on Ukrainian territory, that it would be a huge strategic mistake and it would cost them because of the sanctions regime that we're putting in.
Prime Minister said it would be a tragic miscalculation. In what way?
Well, we're making it very, very clear that Russian individuals, Russian entities would feel the pinch through the sanctions regime. And of course, the other point is that, as we've seen images from Ukraine, the Ukrainians are not just going to roll over and take this. And our fear is that it would be protracted, it would be bloody, it would obviously hurt Ukraine, but also very much hurt Russia. All of this can be avoided if Russia de-escalate and move those troops away from the border.
The Prime Minister was given the opportunity yesterday to apologise for his comments that he'd made about linking the Leader of the Opposition to Jimmy Savile. The Leader of the House made it very clear, the Speaker of the House made it very clear that he was not at all happy. Why didn't he take the opportunity to just apologise?
Well, the Prime Minister's made it clear that the comments he made was in response to the Leader of the Opposition saying leaders need to take responsibility for the organisations they lead, and that's completely right. But Keir Starmer himself apologised for the organisation that he led in relation to the non-prosecution of Jimmy Savile, and the Prime Minister was highlighting that point. All these things are factually accurate. As I say, Keir Starmer apologised for the failings of the CPS under his leadership. Now,
So just to be clear there, so Keir Starmer apologised for what happened when he was DPP.
DPP.
Yeah. The Prime Minister is having parties that he's hosting in Downing Street and he won't apologise for that.
No, the Prime Minister has apologised. Hang on, that's not accurate at all. The Prime Minister has apologised for what went on. He has said that he is going to take...
There were parties.
No, but that's the point. Is the Prime Minister has apologised.
Is he now saying there were parties?
No, the Prime Minister has apologised for what happened. You know, and
yeah, but that wasn't my question.
Yes, it was actually.
No, I said has not apologised for parties that went on at Number 10.
He has apologised for what happened. He has apologised in response to the things that have been highlighted from Sue Gray's report, and he has said that he is going to take action to address those things. That's exactly the right response when a report comes out that's critical of an institution or events. That is the right response, and that's exactly what the Prime Minister has said he's going to do.
He hosted parties at Number 10 in his flat, it would appear, and yet he won't apologise.
Well, hang on, you're making assertions that not referenced in the Sue Gray report. If you know something that I don't, let me know. But from what the Sue Gray report has said, the Prime Minister has accepted fully the recommendations she's made. He's already starting to take action and he has apologised for what's happened.
There was an event in the Downing Street flat that has been passed on to the police where they sang ABBA songs, including The Winner Takes It All, after Dominic Cummings left. There are photographs of the Prime Minister in the flat, on his way up to the flat, not necessarily in the flat, because I haven't seen those, on his way up to the flat. So he was hosting parties at Number 10 and he won't apologise. And yet he slanders the Leader of the Opposition and suggested that he was involved in crimes carried out by Jimmy Savile, in that he had to apologise because he was the head of the department.
Well, no, you're making a whole load of assertions that are just not back. OK, well, look, we're going to disagree on that. The point is, Keir Starmer has apologised for the conduct of the CPS during his tenure as leader. Right to do so. He said that he will make... at the time he said that they will learn from the mistakes that happen and make changes and improvements. Right to do so. The Prime Minister has absolutely done the same thing with regard to the response to the Sue Gray report. The assertions that you're making, I mean, I can only judge on what is in the public domain. The Sue Gray update was published in its entirety, and I'm basing my comments on what is in that report. If you know other stuff, that's absolutely fine. I've not seen those reports. I've not seen those photographs, so I'm only going to comment on the stuff that I have seen.
OK, let me talk to you about what's happening in Afghanistan. Our Alex Crawford is there. The most harrowing stuff that she has been sharing with our viewers, to the extent that I can't put it on my programme until after 9 o'clock this morning because it's just so harrowing. Let me just give you a little taste. Here, actually.
They're having to cram babies onto beds in the main provincial hospital. It's standing room only here. A measles outbreak is ripping through them. In the tiny, with already poor immunity, measles can be a death sentence. The insecurities meant vaccines haven't been given.
And many of those babies subsequently died. I know that you're a parent too. What should we be doing to help the people of Afghanistan?
Well, look, the situation in Afghanistan is absolutely horrific, and this is a reflection of the situation there. I mean, the government has already committed £280 million in direct additional humanitarian support to Afghanistan. Clearly, the challenging situation is how we interact with the Taliban. And we want to make sure that whatever support we give to the Afghan people gets to the Afghan people like that, and isn't, well, and this is the challenge. We need to make sure that it isn't diverted by the Taliban or others, and there are other organisations who are focused on terror and atrocities based in Afghanistan. We want to make sure that they don't benefit from money that people like that need. So we are absolutely committed to continue our support in Afghanistan. It is technically incredibly difficult because of the actions of the Taliban. We will continue
allow that to continue.
But the point is, okay, it is not easy to address it. If there were a simple solution, obviously we would take advantage of that simple solution, but it's not simple. And we will continue working in whatever way we can to get support to the people who need it and keep money away from the people who would use it to further terrorise not just Afghans,
but is it not worth
elsewhere.
giving them the aid, even if some of it is hived off by the Taliban, in order for those babies to be able to...
So we are giving aid, but the simple truth is that it would be unconscionable if we were knowingly letting money be diverted to people who would use that money to terrorise exactly people like that and others internationally. So we are being careful with how we expend our money, but as I say, we've already committed £280 million plus in additional humanitarian aid. We are delivering that in a way that gets it to the people that need it, not to the people who'd use it for terrorism. We are absolutely focused. We do have, as the British people, we have a long-standing and very understandable commitment to the Afghan people, and we will make sure
Thank you, Minister.
We can do what we can.